the good, the bad, and the ugly from the Seattle Mariners last night against the Kansas City Royals at home in Seattle. A big win. Last night's just another perfect example of a Seattle Mariners game where you can have such great moments with also such disappointing ones in the same breath, even in a win. Let's break down the film. This is going to be starting with the more negative stuff, going into the more positive at the end, what we have to look forward to, and a couple changes I think that maybe the Mariners would want to consider going forward. That'll all be timestamped below. This is a Game Face Sports breakdown. If you're interested in more of these, please consider subscribing, and let's get straight into it. The first play I wanted to start with, because I think it collectively gave every Mariners fan a heart attack here, is Cal Raleigh is going to get called for interference because he's going to have his glove get hit by the batter's swing here. And I just want to talk about like why I feel like I've been seeing more of this happen as of recently. This was bad. It gave everyone a heart attack, but we also got extremely lucky that he did not break his arm or his hand here. Let's watch. Hits the glove entirely, pretty quick. What's tough is I feel like the way catchers are getting set up now and the way they're catching are kind of asking for this to happen. Oh, geez. Really, really, really lucky that that didn't break something. But look at how far out his hand's going to go. There's no reason for a catcher to be so close up to that zone where the swing is happening for his glove to get hit. As much as you want to put this on batters, batters always line up at the very end of the box in the big leagues. I've never seen a batter not go all the way to the back of the box. You know that's where they're going to set up. Everybody's about the same. And catchers now are doing this thing where they're setting up in such a vulnerable position because they're trying to frame pitches and it's easier. I've noticed they put their knee down. They're not squatting like a normal catcher squat. And then they stick their gloves way out to try and get out to the ball and catch it before it goes too far outside of the zone. If it's a sweeper, if it's a slider, a fastball painted on the corner, if they can go out and catch it before it keeps moving out of the zone, it looks more like a strike. It just does. It's easier to frame it. But this is the downside of it. You're putting yourself at risk of getting drilled like that. And Cal Raleigh is way too important to the team to be taking risks. I hope he backs up. It's not worth it. Framing pitches is important right now because there is no like strike zone, computer zone happening. So I get that it does help your game. But let's not push it so close that you can get hit by a swing. Not only that, but it puts the batter on first base too. It's interference. The catcher's always going to be at fault for that. Now we're going to look at the terrible communication by our right fielder, Mitch Haniger. Mitch Haniger has been having problems all year in the outfield. And this is just another moment. Again, you guys know when I'm watching and I'm criticizing people's play, especially at this level, if you see my content, I'm going to reiterate this again. I try to stay off the physical stuff. I try to stay off making fun of guys' physical mistakes. Nobody's perfect in baseball. There's way too many games. You're going to commit errors. It's going to happen. But as I've said, there's a limit to that. This is professional baseball. And if you are consistently making physical errors, that's a problem. That means you're just not good enough to play at this level. I give you a lot of free passes before I get to a point where I feel like you can't play the position. Mitch Haniger's at that point for me. And here we go. This is kind of a physical and mental mistake. We're going to get a shot into the gap with runners on first and third. And there's like a miscommunication / bad angle being taken here by Haniger. We'll look at the other angle, but that allows the runner to score from first because they were not able to cut that ball off. See, look, that looks like it's Mitch Haniger's ball all the way coming from right field. And you can see as he's getting to it, it's a bad angle because it gets by him. And then Julio has to come in and clean up the mess. And then Julio's going to bobble it too, trying to get it in. That runner on first should have never scored on that play. It should have never happened. I mean, maybe you would like to see Julio kind of take charge and just say, it's mine, and let it go to the wall. But you can see, watch Julio right here, the center fielder. Watch him slow up. He's slowing up right there because it looks like Mitch Haniger's got it all the way. It's his ball. But Mitch Haniger misjudges it and it gets by him. And then Julio has to step in. So really, it's just a bad angle. It's a bad angle by Mitch Haniger. He did not judge this ball correctly. And this is a physical mistake because it looks to me that he's not used to just tracking down balls in the outfield. And this was so bad that I actually looked at his history as a player. And let this be a lesson to anyone that's young and still playing baseball. Dude, if you can hit at the big leagues, they don't give a shit about your defense. They really don't. It's your defense is really just a bonus. If you are great at the plate or even have been great at the plate in the past and they think you can hit, they will look over, especially if you're a Mariner, they will look over your defensive problems all the way if you can produce at the plate. Mitch Haniger's been an outfielder since college. I didn't look at his high school career, which who does, but in college, Mitch Haniger played outfield. This is a normal position for him. It's not like they just slid him out there. He's been playing outfield for a very long time. So for him to look this lost overall tells me that the guy is just not a good defensive player. He's not. He's been making mistakes all year and been costing us many, many runs. He's great at the plate sometimes. If you want to DH him sometimes, that's great. Maybe when Canzone comes back, we just take him out entirely. But that's a bad look. That's a really, really bad look. To give you another example of just a blatant physical mistake that I'm not going to get too much on, although Urias has made a couple of these this year. The other one was kind of more of a mental one earlier in the season. It was like the first or second week of the season. Urias had a bad kind of bonehead play, but he's been really good defensively since then. This is a physical mistake. You're going to get a semi-routine fly ball here, and he's just going to drop it. Just going to drop it. This is what I'm talking about when I'm saying physical errors. They're going to happen. He's been really good for us at third base mostly. That's going to happen, okay? That we're just going to let that one pass. Didn't allow a run to score. Now, I wouldn't even say necessarily a routine play, but a play that you would like to see him make. Like, that's a very makeable play. Also, underrated backup right there. He bobbled it, and Luke Raley was right there to catch it for him. Underrated backup by Luke Raley here. Great backup. Now let's start looking at the more positive stuff. This right here is an example of something I've been waiting for the Mariners to do a lot more of. When we have our faster guys in the lineup running the bases, I want to see us be way, way more aggressive and challenge guys on their throws way more often. When you're struggling offensively, I feel like you need to be more aggressive on the base paths. Some people might say otherwise. But if you have a chance to score or get an extra base on that one hit, that might be your only chance to score or get that extra base on that hit because we're not doing great offensively. Typically we're not. So when we have our few guys, Josh Rojas, Luke Raley, Julio on the base paths that are faster, I want to see them challenge guys on their throws. I want to see them try to take an extra base. I want to see them try to score on a base hit to center field when they're at second base. That's what I want to see. And we're going to get a base hit to right field. Julio is on first base right now, and we're going to challenge the throw. We're going to send Julio to third base. We're going to go first to third on a base hit. I love seeing it. Here we go. Base hit to right field, a hot shot right to him. We're sending Julio. We're sending him. Challenge the throw, and he gets in safely. The only way you're getting Julio here is if it's a perfect throw. That's the only way. So challenge guys to make perfect throws, right? It seems very common sense to me. If a guy makes a perfect throw, you take your hat off to him. Great throw, bud. You got Ichiro in right field. But if you're going to get Julio out on a first to third throw on a base hit to right field, it's going to have to be perfect. He's too fast. And because we did this, we're going to score an extra run. Now we have that runner on third base. We're going to get Cal Raleigh up to bat, the very next batter. And remember, Julio, if they weren't aggressive, would be standing on second base right now and not third. And he's going to hit a deep shot to center field. It looks like maybe it's catchable, so they're tagging up here. He misses it. Julio scores from third easy, gives us an extra run. And that's why you need to be aggressive. That's exactly why. If Julio is standing on second, a run does not score on that. That's the difference. The next positive moment, Ty France goes 2 for 4 today. One of those hits being a home run. And I have to say, I've noticed something with Ty. Ty France might be one of the best breaking ball hitters I've seen in the league. Definitely the best breaking ball hitter, I think, on the entire team. Every time someone throws this guy a slider, a curveball, a splitter, this dude's on that shit. He's always making hard contact. It almost seems like Ty France would rather have somebody throw him some junk rather than a fastball. Look at him get down and get to this curveball and just drill it. That's not even like a hanging curveball. It's in the middle, but it drops in there pretty low. And he still is able to golf this thing out. Ty France seems like he looks for those breaking balls. Taking another look at the swing here, getting down, going to it. I mean, that's impressive. I love seeing him come out of his slump like this. I am a huge Ty France defender. I think they should give him more time. If they're going to trade Ty France, they better be damn sure it's somebody who's hitting for a good average, because we don't have a whole lot of those guys on our team. Also, this is for a fan. I don't think I've ever seen this in a baseball game before. A fan on back-to-back foul balls is going to catch both of them out there in left field. Here's the first one. Great basket catch by this fan out there. Comes up with the ball, right? Awesome. Everyone's celebrating. This was crazy. This is the very next pitch. Goes right back to the same guy for another ball. Comes up with it. It celebrates. That was so awesome. I've never seen back-to-back pitches go to the same fan like that. That was crazy. That's like 1 in a million right there. Buy a lottery ticket. This is going to lead into my next segment here. If you're a Mariners fan, you've been following the team. Jorge Polanco left the game early yesterday because of I think it was hamstring tightness. I'm sure he'll be fine. But they put Josh Rojas at second base to replace him, and here's his footwork. Ground ball. Look at him. Quick set the feet, snap throw. He's played second base before. I don't even have to look at his statistics to know this dude's been playing second base before in his past. Ground ball. Look at him set his feet. Set right there. He's played second base before. So I already trust him to take over for Jorge Polanco. What do you think? Now, hear me out. Well, you know what? You know what? Let's look at the stats before I even say this. Let's look at the stats. You know what I'm probably going to say. With Jorge Polanco out, and basically what that means is they put Rojas at second, and then they would put Urias, I don't know how to say his name, Urias, over at third base. Let's just compare their stats, okay? Let's just compare. Jorge Polanco has been terrible this year. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care what specific game range you want to look at. He's been awful this year. He's been one of our worst hitters. I don't know why they keep putting him up in the front of the lineup, but he is batting 192 batting average with a 298 on base and 606 OPS. Don't really care about OPS. Just his average and his on base is really the main things I look at. He's batting 192 with a 298 on base, which is terrible. Now, flip side of that is for his career, he's 266, 333, 772. So this is an extremely abnormal down year for him so far. So you have two options, okay? You can either ride this out and keep him in the lineup and just pray to God that he comes and shows up and starts playing well, or you can take a big swing and move on from him. And let's look at Urias stats. Okay, so he's actually even worse. You could put Demo in there. I'm looking at Urias stats. I take back what I said about him. I don't think they should change him out for Urias. He's batting 172, better on base 304, and a 683 OPS. He has been good defensively. What about just keeping Demo in there though? Maybe JP comes back and then you put Rojas at second. No, JP comes back. Maybe you put JP at short, you put Rojas at second, and then maybe you put Demo at third. Yeah, maybe you put Dylan Moore at third. Let's look at Dylan Moore stats. I don't know. I just feel like there's got to be other options. Yeah, here we go. Here's Dylan Moore this year, 223, 3 home runs, 318 on base percentage, 733. His career, he's 209, 315. But he's been red hot. Can we expect him to continue to be this good? Probably not. But it's an option. It's an option. We also just got Jake Slaughter in a trade. Let's look at Jake Slaughter stats. Fuck it. Let's look it up. Jake Slaughter in the minors right now is doing really well. 297, 392, 486 with 5 home runs. That's not a bad idea. I mean, AAA AAA to the big leagues is not that crazy of a jump. It is still a jump, but it's not as severe as going like double or single A. Maybe Jake Slaughter's a chance. I'm just saying we should be looking at other options other than Jorge Polanco. The whole like, let's just gamble and hope and pray that this guy's going to start showing up. It reminds me of the Adam Frazier days. It reminds me of the Jesse Winker days. I don't like gambling on a guy that's been awful for a month and a half to hopefully come back and start playing well. It just makes me nervous. Please leave a comment down below. Other things you want to see me break down, questions you have about this team, other games you want me to break down, other things you like to see. Do you guys enjoy this style of content? Whatever it is, I read every single comment below. Thank you all for your time. If you watched to this point, you guys are the best, and I will see you in my next video. Thank you.